I've been through the ringer on this, and I've learned a few lessons that I want to share with you right now. First thing you need to do is, now that you're in sinus rhythm, is to stay there. Your job right now is just to stay in sinus rhythm as much as possible, because you're still new in this AFib thing. So the less time you spend in AFib, the less likely you are to go back into it. So, and right now you've just gone through your first episode. Your heart is touchy, especially if you've had the electrocardioversion. Your heart is going to be touchy. Okay, so whatever physical activity you used to do, I just want you to just relax for a little bit. Okay, you need first to get medical clearance before you do any kind of physical activity that's going to raise your heart rate, or if you're going to lift weight above your head, or if you're going to work down on your hands and knees, any of these things that can increase your blood pressure. And the reason is because until you've been through the battery of diagnostics, they don't really know what caused your AFib. So if your AFib was caused by a blockage and you go start working out, that's a recipe for disaster. So wait until you have the medical clearance. And until that time, if you're feeling well, the exercise you should be doing is easy walking. Just go for an easy walk, work your way up to an hour a day, bring your wife, walk the dog, have your phone with you just in case. That's your exercise for now. And I know some of you guys are big gym fanatics, maybe you're chomping at the bit. I was like that. I went and started powerlifting like 3 days later. Man, I really regretted it. Just wait till you get the clearance, do some walking. It's only going to be a couple of weeks. You're not going to lose all your gains. Just wait till you have the clearance. If you're not someone who exercise, well, you've just got a big signal that you should start, and you should just start with walking. Like I said, that's the first thing. You want to start doing daily walks. You want to spend time just keeping your heart in its proper rhythm, not working it too hard, but working a little bit, very light effort. So walking is the ideal choice. You want to avoid a couple other things right now. You absolutely 100% want to avoid alcohol and cannabis, both well known to trigger an episode of AFib if you already have AFib. Alcohol and cannabis, they're on the no-go list right now. Just give them a break. Cold turkey if you got to. I know it sucks. I haven't had a drink in 2 years, since January 2020. It sucks, but it's not worth it, especially right now. Another thing you want to do is you don't want to stuff your belly. So you want to eat until you're 80% full and no more. The last thing you need is to have that feeling, that feeling after you've had a big meal, that stuffed feeling you get at Thanksgiving dinner. That is the last feeling you want right now. Eat till you're 80% full. If you eat 3 meals a day, break it up into 4 and make it smaller. Really take your time eating. Chew your food really well. Until you know what your triggers are, you have to pretend, all the common triggers are probably your trigger. And so a big meal is one, as well as drinking like a big glass of ice water or coffee that's really, really hot. These things can also be a trigger because eating a lot. Hot and cold drinks, they stimulate the vagus nerve. Having a lot of carbonated drinks can, so cut your consumption of carbonated drinks or give them up altogether for now. You don't want to, so if you have a coffee, just add some extra milk just to cool it down a bit. Avoid the ice water, just drink cool water, not cold water. So you just want to do that for a while. Do your walks and focus on your sleep quality. You'll probably get referred for a sleep study, and you should just go as soon as you can, especially if you're covered for it. There's a huge correlation between sleep apnea and atrial fibrillation, but I can tell you for sure there's a common thing where if you get a poor night's sleep, the next day you're extremely vulnerable to a new AFib episode, especially if you combine it with stress. I mean, a perfect recipe for AFib, especially in men, maybe more than women, is a poor night's sleep and then a very stressful day. It's probably as bad as drinking for launching you into AFib. So you want to avoid that. Another thing you want to avoid is being angry. There's a big association, especially for men again, between anger and a trigger of an AFib episode. So try to deal with your anger in a healthy way. The best way to deal with anger is not to get angry. So one thing you need to learn is that you can't control the events that happen in your life. If you could, you wouldn't have AFib. You wouldn't be here watching this video. But you can always control how you react to them. And I've had to learn to do that. I've had to remove stress from my life, and the way I did that was by controlling how I react to things, because you can't control the things that happen. You can only control how you react, how you interpret, and how you feel about them. Those are totally in your control. So consider that, and cooperate with your medical team, get all the tests they want, follow their advice for a while. I mean, you can get on the internet, you can do all sorts of research, but for now, these cardiologists today have so much knowledge and expertise that it would blow your mind. So be a little humble and listen to them for now. I know through the pandemic, there's been a lot of mistrust built up in various medical systems, but the cardiologists, I have to say, really want to see you have two things. They want you to be safe and alive. So the primary concern is keeping you alive, which I think you can agree that is a good priority that your doctor should have. A somewhat distant second is quality of life. That's the side effects, helping you get through side effects from the medication, helping you get back to the gym, helping you so that you can go camping with your family again, maybe, or do that summer trip to Europe that you had planned, or whatever it is. That's a distant second. So for the next few weeks, you should prioritize the same way. Your priority right now is health stability and preserving your life and well-being, your health. That's your priority today, okay? So take the meds. The side effects are going to suck. Take the meds as prescribed. Get it under control. I was on a huge dose of meds. Over the past 2 years, I've come off almost all medications. I'm not dealing with any medication side effects. But for now, the place you're at right now is a delicate, fragile place. You are setting the groundwork here for your recovery. So put up with some side effects. I know it sucks. I know you might have to return to work and now you're on these pills that make you feel like crap. But for now, again, priority is your life and your health and your family, and they need you. Get stable, get your medical, once you have medical clearance to exercise, I would say at that point, it's time to really start advocating for your quality of life. Look, doc, maybe this dose I'm on is too large. Focus on reducing, not eliminating. Okay, eliminating most of your medications right now is not realistic. But can you get by with a little less? Maybe your doctor say, well, you know what? I feel better about it. Once you've been AFib free for 60, 90 days, have that discussion with your doctor. Say what it's okay at that point to say to your doctor, okay, what would you like to see happen before you'll reduce this meds? I mean, find out. And he might say, well, I'd like to see you lose 30 pounds, or I'd like to see you go 3 months without another AFib episode, or I'd like to know you don't drink anymore. Find out, pick his brain, her brain. Just find out. That's the path forward. Hopefully you've watched this and you've learned a couple things, but I think the most important thing I want you to learn is that you're not alone. Okay, if you go on Facebook, there's a lot of AFib support groups. You'll find a lot. I have a support group for people who have AFib, but they exercise really hard. And I think it's the only semi-active group like it. I've only got about a dozen members, but we all work out hard, and it's a great little group. So there's little corners of Facebook where you can find support. And people really support each other. They understand what you've been through, because you might feel like a stranger in your own body for now, and you might feel like that other people in your circle can't understand how you feel. Why are you so nervous when you feel a palpitation now? Why do you jump out of your skin? Probably don't understand it. They see that it affects you, stresses you out, but they're not going to get it the way someone else who's been through what you've just been through does. Well, atrial fibrillation is the most common heart problem in the world. So there are lots of peers for you to connect with. So get on Facebook. I would say it's the best peer support going. I'm trying to build a place on YouTube as an AFib patient for people with AFib. I would love it if you subscribe to me. And if you're watching this video because you've gone through your first episode and you found this video helpful, let me know. Tell me about it. And come back later and tell me how you're doing. This is not a life sentence, but it feels that way. So the sooner you can get that through your head, the better you're going to be. But right now is you just go a little slow for a little bit while your compass is off, and now you've got to reorientate. It's like learning to drive all over again. Pretend you forgot how to drive and you hit your head and you forgot how to drive, and you'd start over again. Remember the first time you drove and you pressed the brake and you couldn't believe how quickly you came to a stop because you'd watch your dad drive a million times and he'd never jerk stop the way you just did your first time using the brakes? Well, your body is like that now. You're relearning your body a little bit, okay? Especially when you're on the medications, the beta blockers, your heart rate will be slower. You might be on blood pressure medications. They have their own side effects. You might be going to the bathroom a lot more than you used to. You're learning the rules all over. Just give yourself a break. Give yourself a couple of weeks. Do your walks. Eat your smaller meals. Chew your food better. Be selfish with your sleep. Prioritize 8 hours of sleep. And I mean, you're actually asleep 8 hours. If you can pull that off, 8 hours a night, you'll be better off. And find peer supports and find people to talk. You can talk to your spouse, of course, but you'll feel better talking to someone who also has AFib, or a group of people. Even if you're not a talker, I find just following the groups and listening to other people's story can make you a lot less lonely. I tend to ramble, but it's because I care, and I remember how scared I was and how scared my wife was. And I look back now and I'm like, feel like if I had AFib now and went in the hospital, I just wouldn't worry. I would just, okay, let's get done what we got to get done. I mean, people don't usually die of AFib. They usually die of something else. I mean, if you got AFib, you probably have other health problems. And that's what you need to take care of. You probably have other health problems. So working on those might be your new project as well. So anyway, thanks for your time. God bless and all the best to you. Big Northern Bear signing out.